Good afternoon, and welcome to the Holistic Networker. I'm your host, Laurel Burnham, for this evening, and with us in the studio we have Ben Eisner from the Fresh Start Laser Therapy Center. Okay, Ben, you're on. What is the Fresh Start Laser Therapy Center? Tell us about it.
What we do at Fresh Start is we help people to stop smoking. Our primary goal is to reduce what some people refer to as the cravings, so that people are able to work on the other aspects of quitting themselves. And the device that we use to eliminate the cravings is a laser machine. It generates a low-powered infrared beam of light, and we use it on various points to eliminate the cravings.
So is it based on perhaps Chinese acupressure, the principles behind acupressure or something like that, that you activate these points? Is that how that works?
Basically, yes. The laser machine was designed to replace acupuncture needles. Acupuncture has been proven to work, but sometimes it presents the patient with a problem. Sometimes there is discomfort involved, and the associated apprehension with the treatment because of needles being stuck into the skin. There's also the occasional problem with infection. These sorts of things are avoided with the laser. It was designed to do the same thing, to stimulate the points without any discomfort at all. In fact, it's quite painless, as well as it's very relaxing.
Okay. Now, let's say I'm a smoker, which I'm not, but let's say I smoke a pack a day.
Okay.
And I want to quit. And I come into your offices, and what happens to me?
The first thing that happens is we bring you into the office and sit you down in the chair. It's a very comfortable chair that leans back so you can relax.
Like a big dentist chair or something like that?
Actually, what I have is a dentist chair.
Eek!
It's very comfortable because you're not going to get hurt. You don't have to sit there with your mouth wide open. You can just relax and close your eyes.
Can I smoke a cigarette?
No, you can't smoke a cigarette in there. Your last cigarette can be right up to the time you enter the office. Nothing after that, though.
Okay.
Nothing in the office.
So I sit back in this big dentist-type chair, and then what happens to me? Do I get zapped?
Basically, that's basically what happens. I do points in the ears, points in the hands and the wrists. All you'll feel is the gentle touching of the probe up against the skin. Like I said earlier, there's no sensation. What happens is the light that is generated from the laser stimulates the trigger points in the ears and in the hands and the wrists. And some people feel that they cause a balancing of energy throughout the meridians on the body. Mm-hmm. And modern science has halfway agreed with this, but has described it more along the lines of causing a nerve reflex reaction to occur. And once again, you don't feel anything other than the feeling of the end of the probe just gently touching your ear or your hands, wherever it is. It's about the size of a pen.
Okay, so you take this pen-shaped object, which essentially emits a beam of light.
That's
is that
basically
right?
what it does, yes.
Okay, and it has a technical name?
It is a gallium arsenide diode laser, and you can find them on various common appliances. For example, compact disc players. You put a disc in them and they spin at very high speed, and the part of the machine that gathers the information on a compact disc player is a laser. And it's a diode laser. You can also find diode lasers which are similar in shopping center checkouts.
Right, right.
Those
Yeah, I
are
think
also
we're
diode
becoming
lasers.
quite familiar with lasers. They're becoming more and more and more a part of our modern life, right? So you take this laser, and it's the size of a pen, and you hold it up against the various points. I know some of them are in your ears, right? And some of them in your hands, right? And you get this treatment which stimulates the nervous system on some level.
A level that you cannot physically feel. Afterwards, what you will feel is very relaxed. And oftentimes you are in a better mood when you're finished. You feel a sense of optimism, because you have taken a first step towards quitting.
Okay, so you say a first step. How long is it going to take somebody who's, you know, a faithful smoker, say, to quit smoking using this particular treatment?
Most of my customers quit smoking right away.
So you're saying after one shot in your dentist chair with this little pen-shaped laser,
yes,
you're going to give up smoking?
Basically, that's the truth, yes. I like to have everybody, all my customers, come back 2 or 3 days later after the first session, and I give them a follow-up and go through the points again to reinforce the initial treatment. And if there's any problems, we address them then. Sometimes people need more than 2 visits. I've had a couple of clients that have had up to 5 and 6 appointments before they quit. But it does work.
Right. And what's your success rate?
It's about 85%, between 80 and 85%.
So 85 people out of 100
quit smoking.
Quit smoking,
yes,
after this.
There's more than one aspect of smoking. First of all, there is the physical addiction, and that is what the part of smoking that I address. I help to restore the body's balance through the use of the laser,
right,
so that the chemical dependency on the effects of nicotine is no longer there. The aspect that the individual who comes in has to work on is the habit. For example, automatically reaching in the pocket for a cigarette and bringing it to your bringing it from your hand to your mouth.
Right.
That aspect. There's also the aspect of getting up first thing in the morning and go to have a cigarette just because you normally do.
Right.
That aspect of it, the thoughts, that aspect of it is dealt with by the person himself.
And actually, I think people smoke because it makes them feel good.
They feel it makes them, they think it makes them feel good, yeah.
Right. Well, I know that in the studies that I've read about smoking that there's certain endorphins, there's certain neurotransmitters that are actually chemicals that are released into the body from the brain that when you smoke, that give you the same sensation as you would if you were feeling really good.
Yes.
Right.
What happens is when the body, in a non-smoker, the body releases endorphins steadily.
Right.
And these endorphins stimulate organ function. And the body also releases a lot more endorphins when you're active and when you injure yourself.
Right.
And when a person smokes, they injure themselves.
Right.
And over time, as you force your body to accept smoking, you force your body to release more and more endorphins to mask the pain of that injury. And endorphins are a morphine-like substance, very addictive.
Yes.
And so what we have to do to make it so that when you quit, so that your body continues to release endorphins steadily, is we have to make it so that we have to stimulate the body to do so.
Right.
And also we have to make it so that the organs that are sensitive to endorphin fluctuations, we make it so they're not so sensitive, so they're not as apt to send out messages of cravings to the brain.
Right.
And that's what the cravings are, is various parts of the body, sending a message to the brain, release more endorphins so we can function properly. They're used to having a large amount released with a cigarette, and that's something that has to be replaced when you quit.
Right. So there is, it's not really a simple thing, but it sounds like this treatment using the laser would be a fairly effective one. And if you're saying 85%, that's a pretty substantial claim to make. It is
effective.
How did you get involved in this?
I was looking for an alternate, different occupation at the time, about a year ago, and a friend of mine was doing it, and initially when he told me about it, I didn't believe it either, and he said, well, come down and have a look and see how we do it. So I went down to his office, and the people were happy, and it was working.
Yeah.
And so I studied at the office for a while and took a course in Vancouver,
and here you are.
My own shop.
Well, you want to tell us where your shop is here in Penticton?
My shop is at 456 Main Street. It's in the middle of the 400 block. As you're going down Main Street, there is a crosswalk on the right-hand side of the street. That crosswalk goes into the front door of our building. We have a sign on the roof.
So you'd be the Fresh Start Laser Therapy Center at 456 Main Street?
That's us.
Okay. And what's your phone number there?
The phone number is 492-7399.
Great. So it must be a pretty satisfactory thing too then to help people quit smoking, isn't it?
It's very nice when they call up and thank me for the help. I by no means do it all. The individual has to want to quit, and the individual has to put some effort into it, but it's very satisfying when they call you up a few weeks later, a couple months later, and say thank you, it's working still, and I'm really happy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's really terrific, because I think that there's a really high rate of addiction to nicotine, and people wanting to quit, and more young people smoking these days because of how sexy and attractive and how much peer pressure is put on them to smoke.
And advertising is marketing the younger ones now. They're targeting the younger ones now.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah, I know there's I don't know if you've seen this ad in Adbusters, an excellent magazine, but there's this fairly attractive, sultry-looking young woman, and she's holding a package of cigarettes in her hand, and it says right across the ad, "If it wasn't for cigarettes, I wouldn't have cancer." It's a very powerful piece of advertising, but it's sort of like an anti-ad is actually what it is.
It draws your attention in the same way that the tobacco advertisers do.
That's right, and it's big business. And it must be really, like I say, must be a really satisfying thing when people actually quit. So there's a bit of an intrinsic reward in what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's why you're smiling, right? So you want to give us your address and phone number again, please, Ben?
Once again, we are at office number 12 at 456 Main Street in Penticton, and the phone number is 492-7399.
Okay, so I would suggest that if you have an idea that you'd like to quit smoking, would like more information on Fresh Start Laser Therapy Center, that you call Ben or drop in and see him at 456 Main Street, and I'm sure he'd be willing to share with you a little bit more information. And now we're going to turn to some Hank's Healthy Hints, and today we're going to look at the benefits of juices and juice fasting. So won't you stay with us for another healthy hint from Hank?
My name is Hank Pelser, and today I would like to speak to you about vegetable and fruit juices. It is summer with lots of sunshine and bringing an abundance of fresh fruit and vegetables. Take advantage of these bounties. They are live foods containing all the elements needed by the body to cleanse, build, and to heal. Also prepares the body for the cold winter that's ahead. Juices do not have to be used in the summer only, but can be used in winter too. Use them in their raw state, especially in juice form. That needs no digesting, because it can be absorbed and utilized immediately by the cells of the body. Let's look at a few of these juices and just what they can do. Take, for instance, beet juice. Beets, that means the tops included, help in the building up of the red blood cells in the body, and also the general toning of blood circulation. But a word of caution here: drink small amounts, because beet juice can be actually be cleansing too fast if too much is used, and therefore nausea and dizziness can develop due to the fast cleansing effect it has on the body. But beet juice is especially good for women, and therefore it's something they can use on a regular basis. Take, for instance, carrot, beet, and cucumber, a combination of those three. It's excellent in the prevention of kidney and gallstones. Also, it's an excellent cleanser, or a good cleansing aid for the gallbladder, kidney, the prostate, and other glands in the body. Cabbage juice has been used for many years in the healing of duodenal ulcers, and therefore it's one of the specifics that's used for that. Carrot juice, the most well-known juices with the most well-known healing properties. It has a normalizing effect on the system and contains high amounts of vitamin A, plus B, C, D, E, and K. It promotes appetite and aids in digestion. Now, potato, very few people think that they can use potato as a juice, but it can be. It constitutes a as a very healthy tonic. It actually, combined with carrot juice, actually helps as a healthy cleanser for our human body. And there are numerous combinations and endless possibilities. We just have to use a bit of imagination. But one thing, when your juices are taken, do not take them, just drink them or gulp them down. Chew them, savor them, mix them with the saliva in the mouth, and then you will be able to find great healing potential in these fascinating and healthy foods. Enjoy and good health. This is my Healthy End for this week.